What's going on, guys? Welcome to the video. Earlier this morning, Good Morning Britain host Piers Morgan absolutely destroyed Lib Dem Chuka Umunna for trying to lecture him on democracy, obviously complaining that the Lib Dems and SNP lost their court case last night that was trying to force ITV to include Jo Swinson in the Boris Johnson versus Jeremy Corbyn debate. Obviously, as we all know by now, it failed miserably, being chucked out of the High Court. Because we have to remember that the High Court is not the Supreme Court. But Chuka the political hooker, who, you will remember, has flip-flopped between like 3 or 4 different parties in the last year, decided to take the absolute liberty and claim that ITV were undemocratic in not letting Jo Swinson take part. Which, of course, you will all know is a massive bit of hypocrisy, considering the Liberal Democrats are about the most undemocratic party in the UK, even topping the Scottish National Party. And that is saying something if you ask me. Let's not forget, their sole policy on Brexit is to cancel it like no one ever voted. You know? About as undemocratic as it gets. Now, the Daily Express have picked up on this, so we'll take a look at their article and the accompanying video that is with it. It headlines, Piers Morgan embarrasses Chuka Umunna for trying to lecture him on democracy. Which means as soon as you see that title, you know what's gonna happen. It reads, Piers Morgan embarrassed Chuka Umunna as he unleashed his frustration and anger at the Liberal Democrat for complaining the ITV debate was undemocratic to not feature a group who opposed Brexit. When in actual fact, of course, the Labour Party opposed Brexit. Just because they won't out and out say it, because they're hoping to keep their Leave voters on side. We all know at the end of the day, Labour are the party of Remain, and that's why Swinson's tanking in the polls. But the article continues. Piers Morgan snapped at Chuka Umunna on Good Morning Britain as the pair clashed over the Liberal Democrats' Brexit position. Mr Umunna complained it was undemocratic for the ITV debate to not feature Jo Swinson, with Jeremy Corbyn and Boris Johnson. He insisted it was important for there to be a party who is against Brexit to be a part of the debate to represent the views of the country. The Liberal Democrat MP said it's a real question of democracy, frankly, because under the Ofcom code, as you guys will know, you have to make sure that you have a range of views. That is why you have got the 3 of us, as we are all slightly different politics. And this debate tonight on the central issue of this general election campaign, Brexit, you are going to have 2 people who don't want to stop Brexit and nobody who wants to stop Brexit. Which is completely wrong, obviously, because as we all know, and I've already said, most of the Labour Party want to stop Brexit altogether. Despite the fact that there are other parties who don't want to see Brexit happen. Good Morning Britain host Susanna Reid added that although the other smaller parties would not be debating with Jeremy Corbyn and Boris Johnson, they would be debating later that evening at 10 o'clock. Now, rather than reading the rest of what was actually said during the interview, let's just watch the interview and go over what was actually said in that.
So you're upset about this infringement on democracy? You think it's undemocratic?
Well, I think, look, we've got multi-party politics in this country now. It's no longer just the two other main parties.
I get it, but just to clarify.
But you're not reflecting
Chuka,
that in your scheduling and in this debate.
Chuka, I get the criticism, but the criticism from the Liberal Democrats is we're not honouring democracy, right?
I know where you're going with this.
Well, it's about honouring democracy.
Just to clarify, but that is your position. It's anti-democratic.
I think when you don't have the range of views being represented in a debate, I don't think it is democratic.
Anti-democratic. This is from a party.
Here we are.
Literally, its only position on Brexit is to stop it happening and to pretend that it never the referendum never happened. And you have the gall to lecture us about democracy. Seriously.
We want to stop it because Brexit in the form that it was sold to the British people has proved impossible to deliver.
Do you want to stop the democratic vote of these
Well, hang on just a minute.
Country?
Hang on just a minute. There are 2, and we've had this, I feel like I'm kind of deja vu, but we've had this debate, and the point is stop Brexit through a democratic vote. And if we get a majority, then I think it would be rather...
Why should anyone vote for the Liberal Democrats, given that you don't want to honour the vote of the people in the referendum?
Well, the point is the people get to choose. They either get
but why should they vote?
Hang on just a minute. They either get to choose...
But answer that question. Why should they vote if actually your position is to ignore the previous time we voted in a referendum?
It's not to ignore it. I mean,
my God.
Ignore
it. It's to stop it. It's to cancel it. It's to completely cancel the vote. So why I'm trying to get my head round. I asked Jo Swinson this. Why should anybody actually go and cast a democratic vote for a party whose position is to actually ignore and stop the result of the democratic referendum? I don't get it.
So there you see it. It took Chuka 30 seconds, but he eventually realised where Piers Morgan was going with this. and it created a little chuckle from a few of the guests, including Arch Ramona over there, Labour supporting Tosspot. I can't remember his name, Kevin Maguire, that's it, that idiot. Either way, even he is laughing at this Liberal Democrat idiot because he sounds like a complete tit. What was he actually thinking? To come on there and complain that ITV are undemocratic has to be the stupidest thing I have ever heard in my life. Talk about completely out of touch with reality. He is obviously forgetting that the whole country thinks the Liberal Democrats, led by his dopey bint leader Jo Swinson, are the very definition of undemocratic. They openly want to piss all over the democratic vote of 17.4 million people at the end of the day. The audacity this geezer has is incredible. But what more can you expect from someone that has changed to 4 different political parties in as many months earlier this year? But essentially, the Lib Dem MP has absolutely no clue what he's doing and no way to wiggle out of it. Piers Morgan is right on the money, as are most of the guests who are obviously agreeing with Piers, because they all live in some form of reality. Maybe not in complete reality, but at least a little bit of reality, and definitely more reality than Jo Swinson and her merry band of losers do. It goes back to what I said in a video yesterday about Barry Gardiner. Who the hell lets these MPs come on TV and spout this obvious nonsense? You are going to make yourself look like an idiot, especially if you're a Lib Dem talking about democracy. I really wouldn't even use that word. It's never going to end well in a TV interview at the end of the day. I mean, to be honest though, we should really expect nothing more from the Lib Dems or Labour for that matter. Green Party can also be included in that. They seem to be absolutely professional at car crash interviews and making themselves look stupid at the end of the day. I think it might be a good thing that Jo Swinson's not in tonight's debate with Jeremy Corbyn and Boris Johnson, because she might end up making herself look like an idiot. So maybe the Lib Dems should be thanking Good Morning Britain and ITV for not having them on and putting them on a less important debate later on. But in true Ramona fashion, Chuka Umunna's on here to moan and gets readily served up by Piers Morgan, a Remain voter himself. But it does seem like so far today all the news about Brexit is good, including this, Chuka Umunna getting absolutely destroyed by Piers Morgan. On that note, I'm going to end the video there, guys. I want to thank our PayPal, Patreon, Subscribestar and YouTube members for supporting the channel, along with everyone who watches my videos. Remember to let me know what you guys think down in the comment section below. Leave a like, subscribe with the notification bell and share this video as it helps the channel a lot. And I will see you all in the next one.
This Parliament is a dead Parliament. It should no longer sit. It has no moral right to sit on these green benches. They don't like the truth. Twice they have been asked to let the electorate decide upon whether they should continue to sit in their seats, while they block 17.4 million people's votes. This Parliament is a disgrace, but they're too cowardly to give it a go. But the time is coming. The time is coming, Mr. Speaker, when even these turkeys won't be able to prevent Christmas.
There is a pattern consistent throughout history of oppressed people turning on the oppressors, slaves against their owners, the peasantry against the feudal barons, colonies, Mr. Verhofstadt, against their empires, and that is why Britain is leaving. And it doesn't matter which language you use, we are going, and we are glad to be going. We're off.